Hello dear students, as we all know that we are trying to revise our class 10 science syllabus prior to our board examinations, and in which we are revising the chapter life processes. In previous classes we had discussed about the process of nutrition and respiration, and in today's class we will discuss about the transportation. Now, when we use this simple term transport, it generally refers the movement of the object from one part to another part. For example, in day-to-day life, we use the train, buses, aeroplanes as a part of transport mechanism in which we use to move from one place to another place. Likewise, that various useful and waste product used to keep moving inside our body. Why they used to keep moving? The living structural and functional unit is cell. This cell requires a consistent supply of useful substances like glucose and oxygen, whereas it also required the removal of the waste product like urea and CO2. So, a specific regular transportation is required to sustain the functioning mechanism of the cell. Now, when we use the term transportation in organism, we used to say that with the help of it, movement of useful and waste product from one part to another part inside the body of an organism used to take place. अगर हम यूजफुल प्रोडक्ट की बात करें तो एग्जाम्पल ऑफ यूजफुल सब्सटेंसेज आर ग्लूकोज, अमाइनो एसिड्स, ऑक्सीजन, हार्मोन एक्सेट्रा, whereas the major waste products are urea, uric acid, carbon dioxide, etc. Now, when we used to discuss about this mechanism in human body, we used to say inside the human body, movement of the substances used to take place from heart towards body organ, where there is a movement of useful substances and waste product moves from body organ towards heart. So complete circulation or circle is going on. So in human body, this transportation is achieved with the help of a liquid which is named as blood, which used to keep moving inside our body. So called, this system is called circulatory system. Now in this system we require a closed tubular structure which is our vessel, a liquid which is our blood, and a pumping organ which is our heart. So transportation is achieved inside the human body with the help of circulatory system, in which blood is moving in a circular movement from heart towards body organ and from body organ towards heart. And the major component of human circulatory system are vessels, blood and heart. Now, over here diagrammatically we had represent that from heart useful substances, mainly we used to say oxygenated blood, which contain more amount of oxygen, is moving towards body organ and it moves from the vessels towards the body organ or tissue fluid. And movement of the waste product like CO2, the deoxygenated blood, more CO2 will move towards heart. So the major component of human circulatory system are closed tube-like structure or pipe-like structures which are named as vessel, a liquid present inside these tubes, which is named as blood, and a pumping organ which used to play an important role in the movement of this blood inside the blood vessel, which is named as our heart. When we start to discuss about the vessels, we used to say vessels are the closed tubular, tube-like structures, pipe-like structures. They are pipe-like structures inside which blood used to keep moving from one part to another part of our body, and these vessels are mainly considered of three types. They are arteries, veins and capillaries. Sometimes a 2-mark question used to come in board examination that differentiate between arteries and vein. So first thing we need to remember, arteries are the vessels which carry the blood away from the heart, and mainly it is a oxygenated blood. Whereas vein are the vessels which bring the blood towards the heart from the body organs, and mainly they contain the deoxygenated blood. So artery are the blood vessels which used to carry the blood away from the heart towards body organ, and inside the arteries oxygenated blood is present. The only exception is pulmonary artery which carries deoxygenated blood towards lungs. Deoxygenated blood towards lungs. Now, veins are the blood vessels which used to bring the blood towards heart. They generally carry the deoxygenated blood. The exception is pulmonary vein which carry oxygenated blood towards heart, oxygenated blood towards heart. Now, so you need to differentiate remember the difference between the arteries and vein. They move the blood away from the heart, bring towards the heart, carry the oxygenated blood except then pulmonary artery, carry deoxygenated blood except then pulmonary vein. Now, if we see the location, since arteries used to carry the blood away from the heart, they inside them blood used to move from the pressure. If they are located on the superficial upper side, then a cut can cause the major loss of blood from our body. So these arteries are located deeply inside our body, whereas we can see these bluish color vessels, these are our vein. So arteries are deeply situated in our body, whereas veins are superficially located. Now, since blood is moving with pressure, so they used to have a thick muscular wall, whereas inside the veins there is a thin muscular wall. Now, one more thing we need to remember, that inside the vein walls are present, and these walls prevent the backflow of blood. They prevent the backflow of blood. Now, what exactly this mean? Later on we will understand the blood pressure, but inside the vein this pressure is 10/0 mmHg. Means when the muscles of heart are in relaxed condition, there will be no pressure on the blood, because हार्ट ने पंप करा ब्लड, प्रेशर यहाँ इंक्रीज था, ट्रेवल करता जा रहा है और आगे जाकर के ये प्रेशर क्या हो जाता है, डिक्रीज हो जाता है. तो डिक्रीज होते ही जो हमारे लोअर लिम्स की वेसल्स हैं, लेग्स की, अगर वहां पर प्रेशर डिक्रीज हो तो ब्लड वापस ड्यू टू ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स बैकवर्ड डायरेक्शन में जा सकता है. उसको रोकने के लिए, टू प्रिवेंट द बैकफ्लो ऑफ द ब्लड इन द वेसल्स, walls are present. This is the major difference. So you need to remember this difference between arteries and vein for short answer or very short answer question. Now, what are the capillaries? If you will see in this diagram, the artery furthermore used to get connected with a very small or tiny vessels, very thin, and these thin vessels cover the entire organ. Then beneath them, under them, the cells are present, and the group of cell is known as tissue, and the fluid present inside the tissue is named as tissue fluid. So inside the body organ, group of cell is present, and in between them tissue fluid is present. The various useful and waste product are interchanged in between blood and tissue fluid. So these capillaries helps in the exchange of substances They help in the exchange of substances between blood and tissue fluid. Now, what we are discussing? We are discussing about the transportation in organism. We used to say it is also an essential life process with the help of which various useful and waste products are moving inside my body from one place to another place. In common, it is named as circulatory system because with the help of liquid, which is blood, the substances are moving from heart towards body organ and from body organs towards heart. So they are moving in a circular motion, so called circulatory system, from heart to body organs, from body organ to heart. The major component of this circulatory system are vessels, blood and heart. So we need to understand what vessels are, we need to understand what blood is, and then we need to understand the structure and functioning mechanism of heart. We had already discussed about the vessels, closed tubular structures, pipe-like structures. They are mainly of three types: artery, veins and capillaries. Now we will discuss about the blood. We used to say it is a mobile. Why we use the term mobile? Because this blood used to keep moving inside our body. And why we use the term tissue over here? Because inside it group of cells are present. Because inside it group of cells. In class 9th we had discussed about the four major types of tissues present in human body: epithelial, connective, muscular and nervous, and where we had discussed about the mobile connective tissue. So we will define the blood as a mobile connective tissue. With the help of this liquid, various useful and waste products used to move from one part to another part. If we will discuss about the component, we used to say divided into two parts: the liquid part, which is plasma part, and the cellular components. The major cellular components are red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. If we will discuss about the plasma, we need to remember 90% part of this plasma is water only. Inside it, various type of protein, albumin, globulin and fibrinogens are present. In higher classes, we will discuss about their functions. Glucose and fatty acids are present inside it. Respiratory gases are present inside it. Hormones and various waste products like urea, uric acid are also present inside the plasma part. The first type of blood cell is red blood cell. It is biconcave in shape. It is biconcave in shape. This biconcave shape increases the surface area of this cell, and this increased surface area helps in the easily transportation of the respiratory gases, which are oxygen and CO2, but mainly it helps in the easy transportation of oxygen. You need to remember for MCQ that they are enucleated. They does not contain the nucleus as well as mitochondria inside it. Since they do not contain the mitochondria, so these RBC respire anaerobically. They respire anaerobically because they are not able to store the energy due to absence of mitochondria. And on the surface of these RBCs, pigment is present named as hemoglobin, which help in the transportation of gases. When we start to discuss about the leukocyte, we used to say that they are the immunocytes, key cell of our defense system. The defense system protects us from the disease causing microorganisms. Now, these WBC or white blood cells are divided into two types. The cells having grain-like structure on their surface, granulocyte, and with the cells which does not contain the grains, agranulocyte. The major type of granulocytes are eosinophils, basophils, neutrophils. Their number, eosinophils number, increases in inflammatory response. This is response of injured cells or tissue. So eosinophil increases during inflammatory response. Basophils used to secrete certain substances which can change the diameter of blood vessel. They can change the diameter of blood vessels, and their secretion prevent the clotting of the blood, coagulation of the blood inside the blood vessels. The most numerous WBCs are neutrophils, and they perform the phagocytosis. This phagocytosis is the process in which these cells used to engulf. They used to ingest the pathogens. Pathogens are disease-causing microorganisms. Now, these monocytes help in the formation of antibodies, and lymphocytes are the key cells of our immune system. And these platelets, they help in the formation of blood clot at the site of the injured blood vessels. Now, if blood vessels used to get injured, wound happens, then these vessels used to form the blood clot by forming a net-like structure at the site of injuries. Along with platelets, vitamin K and calcium, plays an important role in the formation of blood clot. So, what we are discussing? Transportation, basically circulatory system. The major component of human circulatory system, blood vessels, blood and heart. We discussed about the vessels, about the blood, and now the next structure is our heart. How to define it? To define the heart, we used to say that it is the pumping organ of our body, which used to pump the blood towards body organs. So heart is a pumping organ. It is likewise a motor present in our houses which used to pump the water towards the various part of our house. So likewise this pumping organ used to pump the blood towards the various body organ, no matter it is intestine, brain, kidney or other body organs. Now, what is the location of this heart? We used to say that above the diaphragm, thoracic cavity is present. So this heart is located inside the thoracic cavity, first thing, towards the anterior side in front. Now this is my sternum. This middle bone is sternum. In the mid of the sternum, towards bit left side, this is the exact location of heart. So above the diaphragm, in the thoracic cavity, near to media sternum, towards the left side. So it is located inside the thoracic cavity, towards left side, near to media sternum space. Now, how to remember the internal structure? Because sometimes a 5-mark question used to come that with the help of label diagram explain the internal structure of heart. So you need to remember that inside the heart chambers are present, vessels are present, valves are present. Okay? So we need to remember the different type of chambers, main vessels and valves. Now we used to say inside our heart 4 chambers are present. 4 chambers are present. The first chamber, this is our right atrium. The second chamber, this is our right ventricle. The third chamber, this is our left atrium. And the fourth chamber, this is our left ventricle. So, upper 2 chambers are auricle or atrium, lower 2 chambers are ventricles. So, upper 2 auricles, lower 2 ventricles. Towards right side, right auricle, right ventricle. Towards left side, left auricle, left ventricle. So, 4 chambers are present, 2 upper auricle or atrium, 2 lower ventricles. They are, we used to say, right and left, present on the right and left side of our body respectively. Now, in every chamber, specific vessels are present. In every chamber, specific vessels are present. Now, if you will see, total 6 vessels are present. Total 6 vessels are present, and 3 are present in our right atrium in one chamber only, and remaining 3, 1 in each chamber. Now just see, in our right atrium, superior vena cava, coronary sinus and inferior vena cava is present. In our right ventricle, pulmonary artery is present. In left auricle, pulmonary vein is present, and in left ventricle, aorta is present. So there are 6 different type of vessels. 3 is present in right atrium and 1 in each respective chamber: right ventricle, left auricle or atrium, and left ventricle. Now, why inside right atrium 3 vessels are present? Now I am dividing my entire body in 3 parts: the body organ located above the heart, the body organ located below the heart, and heart itself, which is also a body organ. From the upper part, the deoxygenated blood is carried out by the superior vena cava. From the lower body part, deoxygenated blood is carried out by inferior vena cava, and from the muscles of heart itself, the deoxygenated blood is carried out by coronary sinus. So 3 vessels in right atrium. 1 brings the deoxygenated blood from the body organ located above the heart, 1 from the body organ located below the heart, and 3rd from heart itself. Inside the right ventricle, a vessel is present, pulmonary artery, which move towards lungs, Inside the lungs, this blood becomes oxygenated and carried out by the pulmonary vein into left atrium, and then it moves in left ventricle. How a message is generated that these muscles need to get contracted or relaxed respectively. So there are nodal tissues present, or the structures present which generate electric signals. This electric signal is generated from SA node, which is named as pacemaker. It reaches to AV node, pace setter, bundle of hits, and Purkinje. As a result, due to these electric impulse or messages, the muscles of heart used to get contract or relax. When the muscle is in contract stage, it used to decrease its length. When it is in relax stage, it again comes back in normal stage. So now imagine that this is our heart only. A fluid is present. Muscles are decreasing their length. As a result, pressure is created and fluid comes out. So now this is the structure. We need to remember the chambers, main vessels, and valves. Now, valves. Between right atrium and right ventricle, tricuspid valve is present. Between left auricle and left ventricle, bicuspid valve is present. Apart from it, half moon shaped valves are half, that means semi, lunar, that means moon. Half moon shaped valves are present on the pulmonary artery and aorta. So these are the valves present inside our heart. Now, how this heart used to work? That is the most important part, which is named as functioning mechanism. Now, just remember 4 steps. All the muscles of heart in relaxed condition. All the muscles are in relaxed condition. Inside the right atrium, deoxygenated blood is coming. Inside the left atrium, oxygenated blood is coming. As a result, it used to get filled. So we are discussing about the functioning mechanism. inside the auricle towards right side, deoxygenated blood is coming, and towards left side oxygenated blood is coming. So this is deoxygenated blood and this is oxygenated blood. As soon as these chambers used to get filled, blood will start to move from right atrium to right ventricle and left atrium to left ventricle. So as a result, now blood will move from right side to left side and from from right auricle to right ventricle and left auricle to left ventricle. So now lower chambers will get filled and upper will become empty. Why they become empty? As soon as these chambers used to get filled, electric impulse generated, muscles used to get contract and auricles transfer its blood into ventricle. Now ventricles are filled by the blood. To prevent the backflow of the blood from ventricle to auricle, tricuspid and bicuspid valve will get closed and semilunar valve will open. Now these valves used to get closed, tricuspid close हो जाएंगी and bicuspid close हो जाएंगी और semilunar open हो जाएंगे. Now again the contraction comes in muscles of the ventricles and blood will move from right ventricles towards lungs and from left ventricle towards body organs. So that is how blood used to move with the help of the contraction and relaxation of the heart, which is known as functioning mechanism. First relax है, फिर auricle में contract है, फिर relax है, फिर ventricle में contract है. Contraction में क्या होगा? हार्ट की मसल्स अपनी लेंथ को डिक्रीज करेंगी, इससे अंदर फ्लूइड पर प्रेशर क्रिएट करेगा और वो मूव करेगा. नाउ सिंस कॉन्ट्रैक्शन और रिलैक्सेशन हो रहा है, कॉन्ट्रैक्शन को हम कह देते हैं, कॉन्ट्रैक्शन इज कॉल्ड एज सिस्टोल एंड वेंट्रिकल relaxation is called as diastole. So one complete systole and diastole is named as heartbeat, and the duration of this process is 0.8 second, which is named as cardiac cycle. Now in every minute, since one cycle used to get completed in 0.8 second only, so in a minute 60 second is present, and one cycle used to get completed in 0.8 second only. So in a minute 75 cycles are repeated, which is named as our heart rate. So the number of cardiac cycle repeated in a minute is called as heart rate. Now blood pressure, it is the pressure exerted by the blood on the wall of blood vessels and measured with the instrument named as sphygmomanometer. We used to represent it 120 by 80. This is known as pressure during the systolic phase, so called systolic pressure, and this is pressure in diastolic phase, so called diastolic pressure. Apart from it, in this topic, you also need to remember one more liquid present in our body, which is named as lymph. Commonly we used to say it is a tissue fluid. It is colorless in compared to blood, contain less protein and more WBC inside it. This is all for circulatory system, dear student. In next class we will discuss about excretion. Thank you.